All right, we're here to talk about Spirit of the Shadows issue 1, which is now released. This will be a spoiler discussion. So if you have not yet read Spirit of the Shadows issue 1, go ahead and pick that up at your local comic store right now and give it a read before you watch this video, or else you will be spoiled.
Yeah, hit the pause button right now. Go to the comic shop, read it,
Or
come
online,
back.
yeah, or digitally. There's digital purchasing abilities as well.
Yeah, whatever works. Then come back to this because we have some insight that should be pretty insightful.
Yeah, I think so. This is only going to be spoilers for issue 1, by the way. We're not going to talk about anything in the future. And we're not going to talk about anything in the past either, because we did a whole video on that already about the long and convoluted origins of this character and the story. It's very interesting, so I recommend you go watch that as well if you're interested in the character. But this is all just going to be focused on this one issue. So let's get going.
Yeah, straight up, we find ourselves here in the Sacred Realm, where we got Eric meeting with Katrina, reuniting for the first time upon dying.
Yeah, so we open up kind of throwing you into the action. It's meant to be a little bit disorienting at first, but I think it all starts to click into place in the first couple pages and really sets up the arc of the rest of the series. We give Eric what he wants, it gets taken away, and we give him the rules in order to get it back. And I guess we're going to see whether or not he's successful in that journey.
Yeah, I think part of the intent always early on, like you said, give him what he wants, but literally just that goal straight from page 1 and just go from there. But a fun thing with the character that you meet on page 1 and that first scene here, the little dude, the clerical, that design actually came from I did a book with one of my other buddies, Tristan. It was called Infinite Wonders. That was like my earliest comic. I did a bunch of drawings of characters that I wanted to pop up in later issues, and that guy was one that never popped up, so it just felt like it was a good home for him to finally be here in spirit.
Yeah, I love his design. It's so cool. I remember seeing some of the first little sketches you sent of his kind of updated design. He looks pretty similar to the original version, but there were a few little updates for fitting him into this spirit world, and it turned out really cool.
Yeah, and I mean the spirit's design, we talked a bit about that before, but I think it's fun, you know, when you first see him here in the book. You got like, he just looks so stoic and like stilted because he's just like shocked into hearing that he's dead, and has just got all these rules thrust upon him. So it's really, you know, you're disoriented just like he is.
Right, yeah, I think a big part of like the storytelling was to kind of take you on his journey in his shoes. And obviously when he arrives here, he has limited memories. You have no memory of this character as you're meeting it for the first time. So, you know, a lot of the things you might feel while you're reading it are things that the character probably feels too. And I feel like, you know, that was a big part of putting the reader in his shoes and making it a kind of a exciting experience. And I guess just talk a little bit about the rules of the spirit realm and how that came about. You know, anytime you're doing an afterlife set story, you kind of have to imagine what that afterlife is going to be. And of course, there's a visual component and there's a storytelling component. A lot of the rules came about in support of what was best for this particular story that we were trying to tell. So, you know, the fact that you have limited memories, that you have this book, that his book ends up getting ripped apart and he's got to collect it in order to be judged. You know, that was all in support of the narrative structure that we decided that he was going to have flashbacks to his prior life and everything. So, you know, I think it's a unique sort of take on the afterlife, and it's probably not very fair, but it's the one that makes the most sense for what we want this character to go through in the story.
Yeah, and I think too with the flashbacks, you're initially like thinking, okay, this is gonna be like the structure. He's just gonna like find out about his life and everything, and we're just going to go through a bunch of flashbacks, but no, that just gets yanked away, like, again, instantly, and it just becomes another ordeal that he has to go through, which I think adds like another interesting wrinkle, because even in the first issue here, some more of those flashbacks are discovered, and they're like just at the right time, like in the present story, what's happening. Those things are like informing what from the past to the present, and it all kind of intermingles, which I think is really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is maybe not exactly presumed by just this single issue, but we can confirm that this is kind of the structure it's going to take throughout all 5 issues. You're going to keep getting a primary story. You're going to keep getting these flashback pages when you're supposed to learn new information about his past. So, you know, it's not supposed to all be spoon-fed to you in issue 1. You're gonna have some questions still at the end of this issue, as I'm sure you do, and hopefully they're ones that you're hungry to get the answer to, and that's gonna keep you reading. But it's gonna be a slow reveal. We're gonna see the span of this character's life throughout the story as we're seeing this frame story going on at the same time, and. Yeah, I think that's what kind of sets it apart narratively from some other books, and I think that was one of the really exciting things that made us want to tell this story in this way. And yeah, you'll have to stick with it to get the full picture of how this wacky guy ended up in this wacky costume in this afterlife.
Yeah, one little, I don't know if it's like an important moment, but it's one that I kind of enjoy is in the first scene in the real living world here. You know, you start out, he's dead, he's getting buried right here. I just think it's nice how that's kind of structured, and Paste just put those extra panels in of like him getting the dirt covering him, just so you linger in the moment a little bit more.
Yeah, if I recall, this was not as many panels in the script. I think I just said one panel of him dumping dirt on him. So it's pretty cool that you made that 3 separate panels and kind of stretch the time a little bit.
Yeah, and another interesting thing here in this bottom section, all the missing posters. I think it's fun to finally be able to tell people. The people have seen like these preview pages for a while, but Elizabeth is on the wall there on page 5, way before you meet her in the spirit realm. And you find out that Eric murdered her. So,
yep, the big end of issue reveal was actually teased the whole time.
Yeah,
right there, and you may not have even realized it. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we meet Dr. Perkins in the story that's taking place in the land of the living, as we like to call it. Again, it's kind of like there's 3 simultaneous stories going on here. There's the spirit realm story, there's the flashback pages story, and there's the living realm Perkins story. And of course, Helena eventually comes in on that one.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of fun, like constructing this splashy image of the Crescent Manor here, because there's just a lot of like little fun things I tried out, like even the little fog effect that's going on. That was, I don't know if there could have been a better way to do it, but I literally was like over top all the color layers, but under, like over the ink layer too. Then I had to like cut out where the gate and foreground stuff was, so it just fit perfectly in there and everything. But yeah, I don't know. Even Perkins's outfit there, another little fun tidbit is that's like a suit that he wore in our original 2015 Spirit book that we did.
Yeah, that's right. And it's funny because that character was a main character in that book. He did not have a beard, except for I think in like the last page that he was on in that book years later.
Yeah.
So that was kind of just a fun thing that carried over into this version, because it does take place, you know, years after some of the other elements of the story. And you see later on in the flashback that he's at the end of this issue, he doesn't have the beard.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's again a nice little differentiator of the time, and kind of a throwback to that original indie version of the book that we did.
Mm-hmm. And going back to the spirit realm, we got our first real dive into the flashbacks, into the memories, and just really trying to play with, like, you're going right into that with him, just kind of giving it a weird effect to sell that, you know?
And this is it. This is flashback pages, change in style, little change in form. It's interesting. It's different, and I think it's really, really cool what Nick did. The texture of the pages, you can talk more about your form, but that was, I think, one of the early on things that we said is it'd be really cool if we could play with different forms in this book and give people different flavors that they're maybe not expecting.
Yeah, and I think it's extra cool that our letterer Ferran Delgado really picked up on those things too, and you can see that through like every change, like especially here in the flashbacks, the letters are the same darkness that like all the line art is, which is a little bit lighter because it's all just this pencil kind of look to it, so it's like not hard blacks. Like Eric's captions right there are the traditional heavy black lettering and everything because it's in the present with him and all that, but all the other stuff isn't. So just little choices like that. Even in the Sacred Realm, the letters are a little purplish, which is cool.
Like that is not the first style change of the book. This actually is, because I guess we didn't really talk about that much, but you can see there's no panel, no dark borders on the panels. It's a different color scheme.
Very pastel-y.
Yeah, pastel-y. The blacks are a little more, I don't know, bluish or reddish.
Yeah, very dreamlike for sure. And to me, that's kind of what the Sacred Realm kind of feel like it would. That's what it felt described like. Just kind of the dreamlike, perfect place you want to be, you know?
Yeah. So you're not even halfway through the first issue and you've already got 3 different art styles going on. So if that's your thing, it's we've got it for you here.
Yeah, and not only that, but the flashbacks, just as soon as they start, they end as they get ripped up, as we were talking about here. Literally the scene is getting ripped to shreds and you find this crazy creature just eating his book, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you get a good look too at a little bit more of the spirit realm and just kind of the whole vibe of all that. And I think one thing that just came to my mind is kind of like lava lamps for some reason. I just feel like it kind of has like a lava lamp kind of feel, like everything's kind of just like flowing and bubbling and stuff and ever changing. And that's kind of like a little bit of the intent, a little bit of like German expressionist, a little bit of Steve Ditko, Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear everyone's kind of reactions to the book and the style. We've heard a lot of Jack Kirby, a lot of Steve Ditko, a lot of Mike Allred. All people that Nick for sure looks up to, and I think that's pretty cool to hear. So
Yeah.
if you're into that kind of art style, something that you don't really see much of anymore, then this is a book you should absolutely go out and get. And I guess if you're watching this, you probably already have. So.
I think Darwin Cook's another big one that's always been on my mind too.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're back in the land of the living here.
Yeah,
Dr. Perkins.
You've got Perkins and the introduction of Helena, and we don't yet know that. She's disguised as a poor little old lady. And I don't know, maybe this is a good time to talk about the variant cover we got, which was quite surprising. We didn't really know what our variant covers were going to be. We knew the artists, but they had free reign, as far as we know, to do whatever they wanted. So it was really cool when we got this one from Carl Kerschel, depicting Helena in sort of both her old lady disguise and her young true look underneath.
Looks cool.
It's such a fantastic cover. It's such a fantastic image. A really cool idea.
Yeah.
We were not expecting it at all, and I remember getting this one in my email for the first time and just being like, oh my goodness, that's so cool.
I like the red eyes on her usbooks too.
Yeah, I got the little rabbit. Yeah, great cover. We got the regular version and then the Virgin variant, which is actually a 1 in 50 incentive ratio. So this one's extremely rare and hard to find. But this one should be a standard variant out there.
Yeah.
If you haven't gotten it already. I think all our variant covers are awesome in their own ways, but this is the only one to prominently feature this new character that we really love.
Yeah. I think these sets of pages here are a good one that highlights a little bit of like the style for the living world, like the approach for the colors and everything. It's a little moody, there's like some washes going on with like the colors blending and like their weird shades with other shades, you know, and there's these little textures that are kind of over all the colors. That's a little different from the Spirit Realm, which is a lot more just black light in your face. I don't know if I'd say it's subdued, but it's just a little bit of a different vibe.
Yeah, for sure. And just in terms of kind of like the characterization and the dialogue, because we have her speaking for the first time here. Just kind of a funny little tidbit is when I write her dialogue, I was always keeping Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty in mind. I'm a huge, lifelong Disney villains fan. Even as a little kid, I always rooted for the villains. Maleficent was always my favorite. So just in the way that she speaks, the words she uses, patience, my pet, that's like a...
Come, my pet.
Maleficent calling her Raven her pet all the time. You'll see that in here quite a bit. So sort of my barometer for her dialogue was to always make it sound like it's something that, in theory, the character Maleficent could be saying. So.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's larger than life. I feel like she's a good embodiment of that philosophy in this book, as people will see, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like every facet of it kind of suits that, because we're trying to craft something that really just a little bombastic in its presentation, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and you also have to consider, it's set in a nondescript time period, but I believe it's, pretty clearly in some kind of past.
Yeah.
Based on the architecture and the clothing and the way that they speak, and everything kind of is supposed to feel weirdly timeless, but also kind of like an idealized version of like a Victorian era European type town. The town of Terramere here is sort of vaguely supposed to evoke those kind of feelings and those emotions, and that comes through in the dialogue. It may not sound exactly like people speak nowadays, or maybe not even traditionally in comic books, but I think it was all very intentional and tries to evoke both that kind of melodramatic tone that we're trying to strike with this, and this time period, general idea of a time period.
Yeah. Well, this was a fun spread.
Yeah, we got our second big spread.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Was this scripted as a spread or not?
I don't know if it was.
I don't know if Nick has a tendency to turn 2 single pages into a spread. I think he did it at least once, maybe twice in every single issue.
Yeah.
Nick loves his spreads, and they all look really great. I get it, but
well, getting those wide shots, just big in-your-face action. This was a great opportunity for that, because you've gotten a taste of his memories. He's gotten a taste of his memories, and like one thing he knows is he was a musician, and in like recalling that in this moment of crisis, he manifests these dormant powers, these weird ghostly powers, and he forms a violin and just blows up these little monster guys with it.
Yeah,
this is fun.
It's very cool. I think it's very fun. It looks great. Definitely like a new kind of vibe for this version of the comic. In the original like indie book we did, he played the violin a lot in this form, but it was not a a magic glowing green violin. It was just a normal violin.
Yeah.
So the idea that maybe he carries those powers into this afterlife, and they manifest in kind of this more unique way, I think was definitely new for this version of the comic. And I think it's really cool. Obviously, it's so cool. It's on the cover. Hopefully, that's a intriguing image for everyone.
I just like playing with those like color holds and like having the stuff in the different, like everything's outlined in white and it's glowing, and just playing with those effects. I just think is fun to pull out,
Mm-hmm.
And we finally met Elizabeth.
Yeah, we got our, I think our last new character introduction for the issue, at least in the major ones, Elizabeth. We don't quite yet know much about her, except that she has been here for a while, so long that she's already starting to morph into one of those creatures. She doesn't remember how she died. Eric does not remember anything about her. And it's I hope that not many people suspect anything weird yet. I guess you probably wouldn't, in the way that it's constructed.
Right.
For that kind of cliffhanger twist, which if you've read it, you already know. It sets it up as kind of a heartwarming little meetup of two people that are in this doomed space, agreeing to help each other for what seems like a pretty nice, noble cause.
Yeah. And like one thing that's I thought was kind of fun too is when you first meet her, like on the spread and the other page, her other hand is always kind of like a little obscure.
Oh, yeah.
Until you get that reveal of her
prior to
big claw hand.
This shot, you've got her hand kind of always obscured behind her back, behind some dust. So that's a fun little storytelling tidbit there.
Yeah.
And the story continues in the land of the living. We kind of do this back and forth simultaneous storytelling thing here. We get more suggestion of what Katrina meant in the real world with her picture there. Again, still jury's out a little bit on kind of what her relationship to everything is.
Same for Dr. Perkins so far.
Yeah, it's true.
Too.
Yeah, he's this weird guy in this weird manner. We don't quite know what his intentions are, what his past is, what his connection to anything is. I think there's a wanted poster that he saw earlier.
Malpractice,
which seems to suggest something that he may have been wanted for some time in the past. But we don't know what his present situation is. And we have some beautiful little close-ups of Helena's little familiar pet there.
Yeah.
Our respects.
I like the little chomp, chomp, chomp panel.
Yeah.
Kind of ominous as the whole theme's playing out,
Yeah, she has him go get her some food and then doesn't eat any of it and just feeds it to her pet.
You just get super sus.
So it's a little weird. Not sure what's going on there.
He's also acting kind of sus. Too.
Yeah, he's hiding something behind that wall there. Not quite sure what's going on. And then right at the end here, she starts to transform. The truth is starting to come out. We learn that she is a witch, that she knows a little bit too much about Eric and his connection to the spirit of the shadows. And then, wabam.
Crazy splash page.
Beautiful splash page of this awesome, fun character in her true, full form, Helena Hextress.
Yeah, that was a really fun design to figure out. We went through a couple iterations of it, but I really wanted to push like the angle and the perspective on the splash, really make it like it's popping out at you. Everything's just like really exaggerated and dramatic, like the lighting, lots of subtle layering tricks going on to try and make it all pop in layers. And yeah, I'm really proud of that one personally.
Yeah, we love this character. You're going to see a whole lot more of her. If there's I wouldn't say any regret, but anything it's a little unfortunate is just the way that the first issue was constructed. We don't see much of her in her full form, and I think you're gonna really like when you see more of her. She's quite prominently featured in the rest of all the issues, so it's not the last you see of her.
Yeah, I think it's funny how the book's kind of marketed as like a superhero book when he's not really a superhero at all. He's more kind of like a villain, and you got Helena. It's like you're kind of who you're kind of rooting for, kind of thing. At the end of the day.
Yeah, I think it's exciting to have this cast of characters with kind of varied intentions, and you're not quite sure who to root for. Someone that you might have thought was a good person, and certainly the way that it was kind of pushed as a superhero book. You know, he does some heroic things, I guess, but when the truth starts to come out here, Eric LaRoe killed my sister. So that's not good.
No.
We don't quite know why or how. We get a little flavor of that at the end of the book here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
They're finding more of the flashback pages, a little scattered around these weird rocks that have like some faces embedded in them and stuff. Some more weird touches in the spirit realm, but another transition into flashbacks, and it's a not so nice one.
Yeah, so this is the first time they find one of the pages after the book has been destroyed. That's again going to be kind of a narrative usage throughout the rest of the series of them finding the rest of these pages. But yeah, it's as he says, from fairly late in his life, and we learn kind of who he has become at this late stage in his life.
You already see right there the little room that Dr. Perkins, he cranked the little lever on a few pages before when he was talking to Helena.
Right.
You see inside what that room is, and it's a strange lab hidden behind the fireplace.
Right.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, so we see that Eric is working with Perkins in his full weird costumed monster form, and they are operating on these young women, and it seems like they're doing it for Katrina. We don't know quite exactly why. All we know is that it does not work. It has not worked. And they keep on trying because
bodies keep stacking up.
There's a pile of missing posters and bodies there, and that's
again some of those on the first that page 5 earlier on.
Right.
Too.
Yep, all that was kind of foreshadowed.
One thing I kind of like is his little shocked face there in the corner as he's seeing these things for the first time.
Yeah, it's, again, it's going through his journey through his eyes. So hopefully at this point, if you're reading the book, you're surprised, and he's reading this book as well, and he is surprised as well. So it's all kind of, constructed to flow that particular way. And then on the last page, we have the big
reveal.
The big kicker, that not only was he a killer, not only did he operate on all these young blonde girls, but one of them was his new friend Elizabeth, and he is the one that killed her. And not only that, that is the sister that Helena is referring to. So very proud of this last page. I think it was actually one of the earliest things that was settled on when we were outlining the story, that it would be, we have these two sort of seemingly unrelated plot threads going back and forth throughout the issue, which is, Eric and Elizabeth in the afterlife, and Perkins and Helena at Crescent Manor. Don't really understand what they have to do with each other until the very end, where it becomes clear that Eric killed Elizabeth, somehow working with Perkins, and that Helena is her sister, and she's now trying to get revenge for that murder. And there's a lot more where that came from. There's a lot more information that will come to light over the next 4 issues, and hopefully this is a cliffhanger that makes it impossible for you not to go pick up issue 2
Yeah, because I feel like honestly, all the cliffhangers are pretty juicy. I feel like every issue it kind of threads the line and gets to the next logical spot where it's like should be satisfying, complete story by the end, you know.
Absolutely.
But as for now, issue 2, February.
Yep, February 2026.
Don't miss it.
Got the beautiful cover tease here. You can see Helena front and center.
Yeah.
Shows that she's going to be a bit more of the focus of that particular issue. And one of the fun things we do at the end of each issue, which you don't know that quite yet, is this little tease at the end, the Wayward Witch. So each issue is going to say next issue and then have a little adjective and noun
Yeah.
about the sort of subject character of the next issue, who you're gonna learn more about and maybe get more of the focus on. So for this first one, we got the Wayward Witch, and again we've got that Elizabeth missing poster there that was teased in the earlier pages on the wall that you may not have even caught.
And even her little photograph that Helena has there, it's like the same picture, but she's just wearing like a, different outfit and everything in it. And it's just thought it was kind of fun because that's like where they pulled it from, probably the illustration.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got the I guess the other sort of connection between the characters that you may or may not have noticed
Oh
is the
yeah.
necklace.
Yeah, good point.
We have throughout, Elizabeth is wearing a
That's another thing.
jagged crescent necklace, right?
Yeah.
Helena is wearing the same thing. She's got not only that on her necklace, but also her belt. And crescents are definitely a big theme in here. You've got the crescent moon, the crescent manor. You got the crescent necklace with them. We've got another crescent necklace that shows up here. We don't quite know exactly what that is yet.
Yeah.
Maybe you will. But it's something to consider if you're the kind of person that digs into themes and symbolism and imagery and stuff like that. Is, what a crescent is, what a crescent represents, how it relates to shadows and the fact that a crescent moon is a hole with a shadow, and how that plays into perhaps the title and all that fun stuff. So I'm not gonna spell any of that out, but it's definitely I think there's some stuff in there if you're interested in digging into it.
Basically, there's a lot of thought in like every step of the way here for all these components, and
Oh yeah.
hopefully it pays off as a satisfying thing,
Yep, it's a book we're really proud of. We put a lot of effort into it. I think even ignoring the decade plus of work we did on this character in this world in other forms, this exact series has been in the works since 2023. It's now 2026, so it took quite a bit to get this thing off the ground. And it's out there now, and we hope you give it a shot, and we hope you engage with it and you enjoy it, because we had a really good time making it. I think we made it to be different than what's out there in a lot of ways, and I think if you're the kind of person that does love kind of gold and silver age comics and more retro styling in terms of art and story and dialogue, I think this is something that will certainly appeal to you in style and substance.
Yeah.
And we also have some variant covers to pick up, and we already showed off this one, but we got this David LaFuente cover, which is Eric and his magic little book there. That was a really cool one. And then,
Matt Wozniewski.
yeah, Matt Wozniewski.
Pretty neat. Got some monsters from the spirit realm in there, and
Yeah.
the Crescent Manor in the back and everything.
Yeah, super cool style. Always cool seeing this character interpreted by other people in other forms. hopefully we see some fan art. It's always cool
Yeah.
to see on social media and online people's different styles and different takes on the characters in the world, and that's always really fun and exciting for us when it means enough for people to do that. So yeah, if you're the kind of person that's inclined to do that, we'll absolutely share it and react to it. And yeah, anything else to say about this book?
I don't know. I think it should speak for itself, Go pick it up, check it out. Come back next month.
Yeah, it's issue 2. We'll do a spoiler discussion on that one as well when that's out. We'll see where the story goes, and we know it gets pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So you're gonna want to know too.
I think issue 1's crazy. Just wait.
Yep, it's exciting. It's exciting. Well, thanks for watching, and catch us next time.
Bye.